गीते भवद्वेषिणी नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरा सुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। Okay, so now we are in the last few shlokas of 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So after Bhagavan finishing the teaching with the Manmana Bhava, Madbhakta Bhava, and also Sarva Dharman Parityajya, then Lord Krishna said to whom this teaching should not be given. So he said, na tapaskaya, na bhaktaya, na cha shushrushave. The one who does not have any kind of a austerity or devotion, or one who is not interested in listening to the Bhagavad Gita, and also abhyasuyati, the one who finds faults in Bhagavan's teaching. To those people, it should not be taught. And we saw that one in detail. And then what is the phalam of giving this knowledge? That was given in 68 and 69. So there in the 68, Bhagavan said, the one ya imam paramam guhyam madbhakteshvabhidhasyati bhaktim mai param krutva mame vaishyatya samshayaha. So the one who teaches the supreme secret, guhyam, okay, to my devotees, then what happens to them? He says, mame vaishyatya samshayaha. There is no doubt in them coming to me. That means they reach me. That means they get liberated. But also I said, when we say those who teach, but Gurudev has specifically said, it is not just teaching. The one who has studied the Bhagavad Gita well, the one who has understood the Bhagavad Gita, the one who lives the Bhagavad Gita, and then he shares his knowledge with the other people. For them, he is telling, Mame Vaishyatya Samshayaha. Okay. And then in the next one, in the verse number 69, Bhagavan said, it's not only they come to me, they are very, very dear to me. In the 69th verse. And even in future, there is no one who will be more dear to me than a person who teaches the Bhagavad Gita. So that's what was said. And then in the when in the 69th verse, when we are talking about the one who teaches the Bhagavad Gita, I already said that one who has studied and the one who has understood, one who lives. And one more point that Gurudev makes here is the one who teaches without any ego. It is like saying, oh, I am a great person, I can teach Bhagavad Gita. Not like that. He has to be humble. He has to teach in such a way that he doesn't feel that, he is teaching his knowledge. See, even when we see in Puranas and all that, nobody in our Vedas, even in our Upanishads, Nobody says, this is my knowledge that I'm teaching. It is always comes from Guru Parampara. Or if somebody asks a question, a Rishi asks a question to Rishi says, this question was asked by so and so there. Like that. He never says, this is my knowledge, I'm going to share it to you. So that ego should not be there. That you are become great in Bhagavad Gita, understanding Bhagavad Gita, and so you are doing a great favor to people. So for this one, Gurudev has written, in my book, it is 174, it's an old book, and he talks about what you call, about his own experience, okay, with a great Mahatma. So when he talks about, so I am teaching this Bhagavad Gita and all that, what is the answer that he got from this great Mahatma? So this shows, you should be completely humble. There should not be any ego at all. So this one is on, as I said, it is on page 174, and also it goes to 175. It's a footnote. Okay, so if somebody wants to read, the first two paragraphs, and another person can finish up with the next two paragraphs. Okay, Shobana, do you want to read the first two, and then Muralidhar, will you want to read the second two?
Sorry, Gita ji, I cannot because it's too small for me and I'm not able to see it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm very sorry.
No problem.
It's too small.
It is very small letters,
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Shobana, hold on. I'll put it on the screen. Just 1 second. Okay.
Maybe I can use the phone.
Can anybody see this?
Yeah, earlier in Gita, is that where we're starting?
No.
In this context.
Oh, in the context. Okay, yeah, sure. I can read that. Thank you, Murali.
Yeah, and Shobana, read it slowly where we can understand everything, okay?
Okay. In this context, it is interesting to note how the elderly Mahatmas, now living in the Himalayan valleys, look at the missionary zeal of the young Mahatmas. Recently, I had to face one of the elderly Mahatmas in Uttarkashi. When in conservation, I reported to them with a naive enthusiasm and a sense of pardonable satisfaction that my work of spreading the contents of our scriptures is being slowly recognized and appreciated by the younger generation. The ancient brows were slightly raised to express an impossible surprise. There was an excruciating silence for a few minutes, and my flow of words stopped the moment I saw the screaming criticism on those sacred brows. After a time, the revered Swamiji said, "Chinmaya, you better stay here now, and no more need for you to go out in the world." No doubt, I was at a loss to understand what he meant. Explaining his idea, the revered Swamiji, after a pause, continued, "If you think that you are spreading these spiritual ideas, my boy, by the time you have spread the sacred ideas of Vedanta among the people, you will be a lost soul, because you will have to by then developed a terrible amount of irrepressible ego. Our acharyas have advised us that after sannyasa, we have only one sole duty in life, to reflect upon the truths of the scriptures and thus meditate upon the infinite." Beautiful.
Muralidhar, you want to finish it up?
Yes, Gitaji. How disseminating of knowledge would bloat one's ego. I was not convinced. When I expressed my inability to follow his line of thinking, that revered old saint of knowledge and wisdom kindly smiled and patted me paternally on my back. Said, "Son, devotees might come and ask to us their doubts. You may give your discourses in the cities. There is none who is doing it now as you are. But one thing we should do, never talk to the audience. Talk to your own mind and make it a louder reflection in yourself to yourself. Thereby, you will not only stop the growth of ego in you, but also will be talking to the mind and heart of your audience. May your missionary lectures and inspired preaching be a homely talk and a fruitful discussion between your own higher intellect and lower mind. If those who are around you are benefited by your own self reflection, it shall be the glory of the Lord and not your personal efficiency. I was smoothed down by the beauty and depth of significance of the sacred attitude of the ideal Hindu missionary in India. Glory to the Rishis.
Thank you. So you can see, even Chinmayana Swamiji, I still feel that, I don't think it was he had this kind of a conversation with the Rishi, but I feel he's trying to teach us. Can you stop this?
Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry.
thank you. Yeah, no problem. So I still feel that, he was a realized soul by the time he came back from Himalayas, and he saw the oneness in everyone. But whatever it is, he is just telling us that, there should not be any ego of the knowledge, saying I know this knowledge. I said in the one of the classes, Guruji said, let this be your loud mananam. That's all. Nothing more than that. And you should be grateful for if you have even one or two people to listen to you. Okay, so don't feel that you are a great knowledgeable person and you're sharing your knowledge. Okay, so I just wanted to say that one. So now that after that 69th verse, now in this two verses, 70 and 71, now Lord Krishna is going to congratulate the students now. So now he finished congratulating the teachers and he tell the phalam of teaching. Now he is going to congratulate the listeners. And what is the phalam also for listening to that? So this is done in verses 70 and 71. See, so that means Bhagavan is talking about you and me. Okay, we are the listeners, right? So good. So here, Lord Krishna divides the students into two categories. One is a qualified student. He's a serious student who has all those qualities. I said, that na tapaskaya, na bhaktaya, you take away na. That means it will give you the qualifications you need. So a student who has that tapas, who has that bhakti, who has that interest to listen to, and who doesn't have any kind of a asuya. So he is anasuya. And he's a committed student. So you can call him as a uttama, the best student. And the second type is one who is unprepared. He's you can say, those who approach the Bhagavad Gita in a casual way. They're not very serious about that. So if you say the second one is the opposite of Uttama, so opposite of Uttama, it might be like the best is worst or the inferior. So instead of calling the Hari Om Mama, I'm in a class. Can I call you back? Okay. Okay. Sorry. So you can call him as a casual student. Okay. So now we have the Uttama student and the casual student. And so the study of the Bhagavad Gita by the Uttama students is called as Adhyayanam. Okay, study. Whereas of the casual student is called as Shravanam. just listening to that one. See, Guruji always used to tell us, don't become the professional listeners. Study is very important. So, Adhyayanam means, it's a serious systematic study, and Shravanam is only casual listening. So, Lord Krishna says here, both the type of students are great, and both are going to get good results only. So the Uttama students who does the Adhyayana of the Bhagavad Gita, he gets the moksha, liberation. Whereas the casual student, the listener, okay, he will also get Swarga, the heavens. Means that he is going to get lot of punya by listening to this Gita. Okay, so now let us see the verse number 70 here. अध्येष्यते च य इमम् अध्येष्यते च य इमम् धर्म्यं संवादमावयोः धर्म्यं संवादमावयोः ज्ञानयज्ञेन तेनाहम् ज्ञानयज्ञेन तेनाहम् इष्टस्यामिति मे मतिः इष्टस्यामिति मे मतिः अध्येष्यते च य इमम् धर्म्यं संवादमावयोः ज्ञानयज्ञेन तेनाहम् इष्टस्यामिति मे मतिः. Okay. Who wants to read? Shobana, you can read this one. Yeah.
Adhyeshyate, small study,
Shall study.
and shall study, cha and yah, who, imam, this, dharmyam, sacred, samvadam, dialogue, avayoha, of ours, jnana yajnana, by the sacrifice of wisdom, tena, by him, aham, I, ishta, worshipped, shyam, I shall have been, iti, this, me, my, matihi, conviction. And he who will study the sacred dialogue of ours, by whom I shall have been worshipped by the sacrifice of wisdom, such is my conviction.
Thank you, Shobana. So here the first line it says Adhyeshyate, right? Adhyeshyate cha ya imam dharmyam samvadam avayoho. So Adhyeshyate means the one who studies or will study. And study what? Imam samvadam avayoho. The dialogue between us, and which is dharmyam, which is sacred. So Adi Shankaracharya says dharmyam means dharma yuktaha, that is, it is wedded to dharma. So this dharma can be taken relatively, also at absolute level also. So at relative level, dharma refers to karma yoga, and at absolute level, dharma refers to knowledge of Brahman. So this means the one who makes this deep study of this sacred dialogue between Lord Krishna, the infinite, and Arjuna, the finite, will get the knowledge of Brahman. That is Adhyayana. So that is the study of this dialogue. So Gurudev actually explains in his commentary on page 177 and 178, what is Adhyayana? Okay. Nita, you have the book. Do you want to study? There is a subtle difference between reading and studying.
There's a subtle difference. Same page, Gita ji.
In my book, it is 177.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
the last paragraph. Last paragraph.
Yeah.
There is a subtle difference between reading and studying. Newspapers are read. Market tendencies are studied by the man of this age. In reading, it is mainly an attempt to satisfy a curiosity of what the theme is, but the process of study is not only a thirst to understand the theme, but a hunger to gain into ourselves the perfections discussed therein through reflection and practice. Should I continue?
Yeah,
Or
please, please. Yeah, the next paragraph too.
when a rusted key is heated in fire, the rust falls off and the key regains its original brightness. So too, our personality, when reacted with the knowledge of the Gita, is chastened, since our wrong tendencies, unhealthy vasanas, and false sense of ego, which have risen from false knowledge, ajnana, all get burnt up in the right knowledge, jnana.
Yeah.
After thus explaining so far the glory of the teacher and the
No, that is
benefits.
for the next one, introduction to the next verse there. Okay. So you can see when we say adhyayana, it is not casual reading like a newspaper. Adhyayana is, real study in depth. So here when Bhagavan is talking about adhyashyate, that means he's talking about adhyayana in depth, not like a casual reading here. Sometimes many people, they want to finish up any textbook, so they not even read the shlokas, you just read the meanings and then say, okay, I finished my text. Okay, that is casual reading. It is also good, I'm not saying no, but that is not in depth here. Okay, so but when you do that study in depth, what happens? Jnana yagnena tena aham ishtaha syamiti me matihi. Bhagavan says, when you study the conversation between me and Arjuna in depth, that itself is a jnana yagna. And it is like tena aham ishtaha. From that, aham, I, ishtaha. Ishtaha means pujitaha, worshipped. So, syamiti. Okay, so syam iti. Syam means thus. Iti means, not syam means I have been. Iti means thus. So, just studying in depth the Bhagavad Gita, it is like worshipping Bhagavan. And this is what Bhagavan is telling. It is not anybody telling. Bhagavan himself is telling. So if you study the Gita, the conversation between me and Arjuna, it is like you are worshipping me. That one. Okay. So here, when we talk about the yagna, jnana yagna, it is not a dravya yagna. We have to make sure that, we see the difference between the dravya yagna and jnana yagna. Dravya yagna is where you offer some ghee and some flowers, the fruits and different kinds of grains, everything into the fire. Okay. But in this jnana yagna, what is offered in the fire of knowledge? The ego, the ignorance, that is what is offered. So jnana yagna is actually a subjective yagna here. So itime matihi, Lord Krishna says, this is my firm conviction. So here Lord Krishna is praising the one who studies the Bhagavad Gita here. Gurudev says, I have autographed thousands of Gita books, and the message that I wrote in that was, read, study 2 to 3 verses every day. Okay, and that was Gurudev's instruction. And so Gurudev says, that is not my instruction. That is what Lord Krishna is telling. Study the Bhagavad Gita. So studying Bhagavad Gita even a little every day is like worshipping Lord Krishna every day. So in Bhajagovindam, Adi Shankaracharya has written, Bhagavad Gita kinchidadita Ganga Jalalava Kanika Pita Sakrudapi Yena Murari Samarcha Kriyate Tasya Yamenana Charcha. Bhagavad Gita kinchidadita. So if a person reads even a little bit of Bhagavad Gita, Ganga Jalalava Kanika Pita, he drinks a sip of the water from Ganga river, and Sakridapiyena Murari Samarcha, and worships Murari, Lord Krishna, even for a little moment, then kriyate tasya yamenana charcha. Then there is no argument with the Lord Yama at all. Okay, so even little bit of the studying Bhagavad Gita is very important. So Lord Krishna said, Jnana yagnena tena aham ishtaha. So I am being worshipped by the sacrifice of the wisdom, jnana here. So when you say jnana yagna, what is jnana yagna? What is sacrifice of wisdom? So now let us see a little bit of Adi Shankaracharya's Bhashya here. Gurudev, what he has written, that is Adi Shankaracharya's Bhashya also in his commentary. So here Adi Shankaracharya says, Jnana Yagna, there are 4 kinds of Jnana Yagnas, or not Jnana Yagnas. He says there are 4 kinds of sacrifices, Yagnas. And he says, Vidhi, Japa, Upamshu, Manasana, Yagnana. So 4 types. So first is Vidhi Yagna. What is Vidhi Yagna? Vidhi Yagna is a ritual that is enjoined by the Vedas. And what is Japa Yagna? We all know it is a repetition of mantra. And what is Upamshu Yagna? It is the Japa done as a whisper. It's barely audible. And Manasa Yagna is purely mental recitation. And continuing, Adi Shankaracharya says, Jnana Yagno Manasatvat Vishishtatama iti. So among these 4 yagnas, the most effective is the Manasa Yagna. Why? Because in Manasa Yagna, mind alone is used. So there is no other support. So it is difficult. So for that one, you need one-pointed mind, ekagrata. So that is why it is difficult. See, in puja, you use your mouth, you use your hands, you use your eyes and everything. So it is easier because you are engaging most of the organs of your body. But in the Manasa Japa, Manasa Yagna, like a mental recitation, only thing that you're using is your mind. So there is no other supports. So it is little harder here. And so Adi Shankaracharya says, so this Manasa Yagna, Tena Gnana Yagnena. So means this Gita Shastrasya Adhyanam. So the study of the Gita Shastra is praised here, stuyate. Or you can say this phalam vidhi eva. It might mean even the results of the study of Gita, Bhagavad Gita here. So, and what is the result of the study of the Gita Shastra? So, Adi Shankaracharya says, the one who studies this scripture, this particular scripture with faith and devotion, he will attain the fruit of what you will get by doing a Gnana Yagna. But he doesn't say what fruit it is. So Swamiji says the fruit is liberation only. So in this verse, Bhagavan is talking about the one who studies the Bhagavad Gita. What is the result of that? Adhyaishyate cha ya imam dharmyam samvadamavayoho jnana yagnena tenaham ishta syamiti me matihi. So studying the Bhagavad Gita is like worshipping Lord Krishna. That's what he is telling. And now in the 71st verse, who is this casual student who is not very serious about the moksha, but he is interested in listening to the Bhagavad Gita? And what will be the result of listening to this Bhagavad Gita, even though you are not studying in depth? So that is given in the verse number 71 here. Shraddha Vananasuyascha शृणुयादपि यो नरः शृणुयादपि यो नरः सोऽपि मुक्तः शुभान् लोकान् सोऽपि मुक्तः शुभान् लोकान् प्राप्नुयात् पुण्यकर्मणाम् प्राप्नुयात् पुण्यकर्मणाम् श्रद्धावाननसूयश्च शृणुयादपि यो नरः सोऽपि मुक्तः शुभान् लोकान् प्राप्नुयात् पुण्यकर्मणाम्. Okay. Sita, you have the book.
Yes, Gita.
Can you read the word meaning and the verse meaning, Amma?
Shraddhavan, full of faith, Anusuya, free from malice. Cha and Shunayat, may hear. Api, also, Yah, who, Narah, man, Saha, he. Api, also, Muktah, liberated. Shubhan, happy. Lokan, words. Prapnuyat, shall attain. Punyakarmanam, of those of righteous deeds. The man also who hears this, full of faith and free from malice, he too, liberated, shall attain to the happy words of those righteous deeds.
Thank you, Sita.
Yeah.
There you go. So here, if you take this first line, Shraddhavanana Suyascha Shunuyadapi Yonaraha. Yonaraha. That being, that man, that person who says, I cannot teach and I cannot study Bhagavad Gita seriously also, but I love to listen to it. So he may be a casual listener, but how does he listen? Okay, it is not like, put your, what do you call this, the earphones and then walk around or do some work, not like that. So here, when I say casual listener, who is a casual listener? Bhagavan is giving the qualification even for the casual listener here. Who will get this result? We will see the result here. So the first one is Shraddhavan. So one who has Shraddha, he is known as Shraddhavan. That means he is full of faith. He has reverence and he has devotion and he listens with devotion only. So when we say Shraddha, faith, faith in what? What is his faith? His faith is that Bhagavad Gita is very effective. And he has the Shraddha in the validity of the Bhagavad Gita also. Gurudev says, Shraddha means actually understanding. So Shraddha is very important. And Gurudev also says, it's not that everyone, who is intellectually capable of comprehending what the Bhagavad Gita says word by word. But you listen with faith. That itself will bring the greatest benefit. So you can say, most of you know the story of Padmapada. Adi Shankaracharya's the four main students. One of them was Sanandana, and he was not very intellectual person. But whatever he heard from Adi Shankaracharya, he would put his whole heart in that one and listen. But he was not able to do the vichara, is this right, is this wrong, mananam, and all those things he was not able to do. But he had faith in Guru's words. And he loved his Guru so much, and he used to do a lot of service to Adi Shankaracharya. One day he was washing clothes on the other side of the river of Adi Shankaracharya's clothes. And at that time, it was time for Adi Shankaracharya to give the discourse to his students. So all the students came and assembled in a room or wherever it was the classes were. And Adi Shankaracharya noticed that the Sanandana was not there. So he did not start the class. Some of the students asked, why you are not starting the class? He said, Sanandana is not here. So some of them said, it's okay, you can start, because he doesn't understand anything anyway. So it's okay even if he doesn't come. But Adi Shankaracharya did not say a word, but mentally he called Sanandana. So Sanandana felt, oh, my guru is calling. And then he realized he was late for his class and he started running. And he even forgot that he has to cross the river. And he started walking on the river. And with the guru's grace, every, the foot that he put on the river, on the water, a lotus came up to give him support. And when he came to the class, at the entrance of the class, he stands there and he does the stuti of Adi Shankaracharya, stuti of Guru. And not in a simple chandas, but in a very complicated chandas. When the other disciples heard this one, they were just amazed at the composition of Sananda. So after this incident, this Sananda was known as Padmapada. And he became the first Matadipati of Govardhan Peter in Puri. Okay, so Shraddha, I just wanted to say Shraddha, when you have this faith in the Gita knowledge, okay, and you do the study, you will get the results. So Shraddha is very, very important. And the next one is Anasuyaha Cha. And he is free from malice, negative thoughts. He does not approach Bhagavad Gita critically with a motive to find faults in the teaching of Bhagavan. And Shrunuyadapi. Also, he may hear. Whatever, this Shrunuyadapi, I should have brought it in the first place, and I forgot to say the meaning. So even if he listens, but he listens with Shraddha in and also Anasuya. So when you do, and also, what is the result of this one? So when a person listens to Bhagavad Gita with full of faith and with no criticizing mind, then what is the result? That is given in the second line here. Sopi muktaha shubhan lokan prapniyat punya karmanam. So sopi, that is saha api, he too, even that casual listener, even that person, muktaha, is liberated. But here, it is not moksha. Here, liberated means he is liberated from the papas. So means he will be freed from all the papas for listening to Gita. And this listening comes under the punya karma, but not under the gnana yoga. Yeah, that is that. Yeah, gnana. It's not. It doesn't come under gnana. And since it comes under the punya karma, when you do the punya karmas, you get the punyas. So listening is a punya karma. So you should get the punyas also, the result of that karma also. And what is that the results that you are going to get? Bhagavan says here, Shubhan Lokan Prapnuyat. So he gets the Shubhan. Shubhan means happy or the auspicious lokas. That is like heavens. That he Prapnuyat. He is going to attain them from this listening to the Bhagavad Gita. So what are the punya karmas that can give punyas? Adi Shankaracharya says it is like doing the Agnihotra every day or the Ashwamedha. Okay, those are the punya karmas. So listening to Bhagavad Gita is equal to doing the Agnihotra every day and also equal to doing the Ashwamedha Yaga. So that is the punya that you get. So Guruji always says it is not just studying or listening to Bhagavad Gita, but even if you help in spreading this Gita knowledge, like organizing the Jnana Yagnas or distributing the Bhagavad Gita books, they are also are punya karmas. So you also get punya from that also. So listening to Gita with Shraddha and Anasuya, okay, is a punya karma, and punya is earned, and with that you reach the punya lokas. That's what is given here. But so we have to make sure the listener also has these qualifications. It has to be heard with Shraddha and not go with a mind to find faults in the teaching also. See, in Trinidad and also in North India, Sri Ram Charitmanas is so popular. There are so many discourses goes on, and the Parayanam is very, very common. And many people whom we call illiterate. Who is a illiterate according to us? The one who does not know how to read and write. Okay. Those people, you should see how they recite this chopais from Sri Ram Charitmanas. Even the taxi driver, I had one taxi driver from Vibhuti to coming to Bombay, Sandeepani. And he quoted Chaupais left and right from Sri Ram Charitmanas, and he was giving me a discourse. And in Trinidad, I have seen little children, they chant the Sri Ram Charitmanas so well. That is because there is that Shraddha. And they learn that one, and that is also a punya karma. And they get the punyas also. So for the this shows for the spiritual knowledge can be earned by anybody. It doesn't have to be only for the educated people. So here Bhagavan is telling in the 71st verse, Shraddhavanana suyascha shrunuyadapiyo naraha sopi mukta shubhan lokan prapniyat punya karmana. So what does this show? All of us are listening to Bhagavad Gita, either seriously or casually. That means all of us are eligible for liberation or at least better worlds, Shubhan Lokan, heavens, or better birth in the next life where we can continue our spiritual path. Why I said better life? Because these Shubhan Lokans, the Swargas, it is not permanent. Because Lord Krishna already said before, Kshine Punye Martya Lokam Vishanti. So when our punyas are over, we are going to come back to Manushya Loka. Okay. So as a human being. So, but Bhagavan will make sure that, we will be in a place where we can continue our studies also here. So in these two verses, 70 and 71, Lord Krishna has done the Shishya Stuti, praise of Gita of students, or you can say the Palashruti, for listening to the Gita or studying the Gita here. Now, in the verse number 72, Lord Krishna asked Arjuna whether he has understood what he expounded or whether he did not understand. But why is Lord Krishna interested to know if Arjuna has understood or not? Adi Shankaracharya in the Bhashya, he says, Lord Krishna wants to know if Arjuna has grasped the essence of Shastra or not, because in case if Arjuna has not grasped the teaching, then Lord Krishna will have to make him understand with different techniques. If this did not work, he has to use another different techniques. That is the reason Bhagavan is asking Arjuna, have you understood this one? And also Adi Shankaracharya says, according to the Shastra Sampradaya and also according to the duty of an Acharya, Acharya Dharma, the Acharya has to make the disciple Krutakritya. Before the teaching can be considered that is completed. What is Krutakritya? Krutakritya is the one who has achieved what should be achieved in our life, the goal of life, the liberation. So here, since this Shastra is spiritual Shastra, okay, so we are talking about liberation here. See, even in Bhagavatam, we see Shukamuni ask Parikshit Maharaj in the end, do you have any questions? Now you ask me. I will answer all your doubts. And don't worry about the Takshaka, the snake that is going to come and bite you. I have the power to stop him. My job, Shukamuni says, is to make you understand this teaching. The same way Lord Krishna is also saying here. So the point that is made here is, if the Shishya has not understood the teaching, then the Acharya must teach again in using different techniques here. So here in the 72nd verse, Lord Krishna asks Arjuna if he has understood the teaching or he is still in dark. So Lord Krishna asks two questions to Arjuna here. So now let us see the verse number 72 here. Kachchidetatshrutam partha Kachchidetatshrutam partha Tvayyaiకాగ్రేణ chetasa Kachchidajnana sammohaha Pranashtaste dhananjaya prana na it's not na pranashtaste dhananjaya. I'm sorry about that. Okay, let me chant the whole thing. Kachchidetatshrutam partha Tvayyaiకాగ్రేణ chetasa Kachchidajnana sammohaha Pranashtaste dhananjaya. Okay. Who wants to read the words and the meaning? Veena ji, do you have the book, Amma?
Yeah, I have on the phone.
Okay, please read.
Kashchit, whether, etat, this, shrutam, heard, parth, O parth, tvaya, by thee, ekagrena, by single-pointed, chetsa, by mind, kachchit, whether, ajjan sammoha, the distraction caused by ignorance, pranashtaha, has been dispelled, te, your, Dhananjaya, O Dhananjaya, has been heard of son Pritha with single-pointed mind. Has the distraction caused by your ignorance been dispelled, O Dhananjaya?
Very nice. Thank you, Veena ji. So here,
Hari.
the first line, it says, Kachchidetat shrutam partha Tvayyaiకాగ్రేణ chetasa. So here, Kachchit, it only indicates a question. Okay. So Lord Krishna addresses Arjuna as Pruta here. That is Pruta's son, Kunti's son. So he says, hey Arjuna, have you heard me with a concentrated mind? Ekagrena chetasa, with a single pointed mind. What is a single pointed mind? Where when you are listening, your mind is not wandering everywhere. And mind is not thinking what is the next question I'm going to ask. But it is listening with total what you call, total, I don't know, anybody can help me the word, total concentration.
Focus.
I'm sorry,
Focus.
got it. Total concentration, okay? So that is called ekagra chitta. So, in the 7th chapter, Lord Krishna had asked Arjuna, Maya Sakta Mana Partha. Partha, here with your mind immersed in me. So that is ekagra chitta. And Adi Shankaracharya says, Lord Krishna is asking Arjuna, have you applied your intellect to it, or were you attentive when Lord Krishna was teaching? Chittenaki pramaditam. So he says. So if Arjuna has listened to the teaching with a single pointed mind, then what will be the result? There is the destruction of ignorance and the attainment of knowledge. So Ajnana Nasha and Jnana Prapti. So that's why Lord Krishna asks here in the second line, Kachidajnana Sammohaha Pranashtaste Dhananjaya. So has the delusion that is caused by ignorance, has that gone, Dhananjaya? So here the word that is pranashta. Nashta means, like nasha, destruction. Pranashta means completely destroyed for good. So has your delusion gone for good? That is what Lord Krishna is asking. See, whenever there is a delusion, there is confusion. And that confusion is always between mix-up of two things there. And there are two types of delusions also. One at absolute level and one at relative level, this delusion. At absolute level, the confusion is between Atma and Anatma. And at relative level, the confusion is between Dharma and Adharma. And Arjuna had said, Dharma Sammudaha. I'm confused regarding the Dharma here. So it is at relative level. The confusion is at relative level. And so here Adi Shankaracharya says, Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna, the purpose for what I taught you and the purpose for which you listen to me, between two of us, have we accomplished destroying the delusion? So that is what Lord Bhagavan is asking here. And also Adi Shankaracharya says, delusion is swabhavika. It's natural. It is not something that you create. It is not something we have to create, this delusion. It is natural, okay? And here, Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, in Gita Vahini, he writes, Lord Krishna asked Arjuna if he listened to the Upadesha with an attentive mind without any distraction, because it was a battlefield. There were plenty of disturbances to distract the mind. But it is really admirable of Arjuna, seated in the chariot between the two armies, manages to master mind and get rid of all the delusions. So you should thank Arjuna for being instrumental in Lord Krishna giving the Bhagavad Gita for all the humanity. So Guruji says, Lord Krishna asked Arjuna, did you listen to the teaching? But he did not ask, did you do mananam on what you heard? And he did not ask, did you do any meditation, nididhyasana on what you heard? This shows Shravana is a direct means of knowledge. That's why it is said, Shravana matrena jnana. But for that, you should have that ekagrata, and also, that no critical mind, then only you will get it. So you should be a fit student also to get the knowledge just by listening. So now Arjuna has to answer. Lord Krishna must be very curious, because if Arjuna says that his delusion has not gone, it has not left him, then he has to start the 19th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So now we will see what is Arjuna's answer in our next class. And in the next class, I think we'll be finishing up this 18th chapter, but then we will take the Mahatmya of Bhagavad Gita in one class. So in the next 2-3 classes, we should be finished with this 18th chapter. Okay? So let us finish it here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om, everyone.
Hari Om.
Om.
Hari Om, Gita
Thank
ji.
you, Gita
Thank
ji.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shobhana. Thank you. You know, you were saying that you cannot read the small print. You know, there is this Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's life written by this Mr. M. And it is about, it is this thick. It's about 700 or 800 pages. And you should see how small the letters are in that one. Oh my God. I started reading. I have read about 250 pages, but it strains my eyes so much.
Yeah.
And so now I have got this, what do you call this? Magnifying.
Magnifying.
Yeah,
Magnifying
exactly.
it's like a board.
Book.
You hold the whole board and start reading. So I have to finish that book, you know, maybe one of these days. It's beautiful.
Gita ji, I don't have
Vascula-
enough light in this room, and I have to
Yeah.
change my glasses. So these are all signs that I should get it changed fast.
That book is known as Gospel of Ramakrishna. It's very
Okay.
nice. Very nice. Okay, Hari Om, everyone.
Hari Om, thank
Hari
you.
Om.
Thank you.
Hari Om, Pushpamma. Hari Om.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Bye-bye.
Hari Om. Hari Om, Gita ji. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Yeah.